more sports talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, hey, we got some news in boxing. I think this very should be front page news. But seeing as though, these are a couple of my Negro League boxers, it probably won't be front page news. But you see, after I'm finished, you consider this to be front page news worthy. And what I mean by front page news is, damn it, you shouldn't have to hear about it in the internet. We got enough sports shows and enough debate shows to know about big things like this. But for things like this is really swept under the rug. And I know I've probably turned some people off that's never been here and say, "This man talking about Negro League fighters." Well, Negro League fighters are fighters that are awesome and we all know, but they don't get the opportunities to show it. To have been high profile fights, becoming undisputed, unification fights. We've always, we put something in the one with a stone in the road, a little bump in the road that it just won't happen. And the media helps, right? And just to be real. And if you want me to just name a few off the top of my head, people like Louis DeVille, King Kong Ortiz, a Deontay Wilder to a lesser extent, but not that much of a lesser extent. A Michael Hunter, right? Those are the heavies. And then I'm talking about Demetrius Andrade, a Charlo to a lesser extent, but there, Charlo, Jamal, Devin Haney, lightweight, not opportunities, and Guillermo Rigondeaux, people like that, right? So here's to one of them also is Terrence Bud Crawford. Now, speaking of these fighters, right, I can go into it, but I have, right, often. Everybody know what I'm talking about. Bottom line is you got Terrence Crawford, right, him right now. He's got Sean Porter on standby, right? Sean Porter, right? Champion, welterweight champion. Been in a lot of high-profile fights, always close fights, with win or lose against the very, very best of his division. He has a win over Ugas, who's a champion right now. Has a win over Danny Garcia, right? He just lost against Kell Brook, close. Lost against Spence, close. You know what I'm saying? He's only got 3 losses. This is, Sean Porter we talking about. Terrence Crawford has Sean Porter on standby. Why? Because Terrence Crawford is in the welterweight division now, and he's trying to become undisputed. So he's trying to get a belt. Pacquiao had that belt, and Pacquiao's high profile. He's trying to get that first, and he's been doing that for years. Excuse me. I document that every time. He's been trying to get Pacquiao for years, and they've been afraid. Bottom line, right? And it's documented. So he couldn't get that, but he's trying to get it now. If not, he was trying to get Spence, but Spence is talking crazy percentages, 70-30 and 80-20. So it probably will be Porter. But I would rather it be Ugas. Maybe he can go get that title, right? Because Ugas wants 50% from Errol Spence. So maybe Spence don't want to even deal with the dude. So maybe, Terrence Crawford can get that fight and then get that title. And then what do? They meet for undisputed. Now, I also heard that Terrence Crawford could possibly be getting a Jesse Vargas fight, right? Which I would know would have a big outrage within the boxing community. And me personally, if he can't get Ugas or Pacquiao, I wouldn't care if he gets Jesse Vargas. Yeah, take a Jesse Vargas fight. Jesse Vargas is better than Yildirim and Samaretta. And I guarantee you he's not going to call the sanctioning body to ask to have an easy fight and for them to elevate that guy and make him a mandatory so it sounds cool, like Gennady Golovkin and your boy Canelo Alvarez, right? So those people can have those kind of fights, right? And if Terrence Crawford can't get what he wants, then take a Jesse Vargas fight, because obviously, right, taking hard fights and trying to get the challenge, trying to become undisputed, right, is not what gets you accolades. It's not what gets you what you need. It's not what fills the seats. Right? Obviously, it's taking easier fights, obvious, and the whole boxing community knows about it, and then you're still heralded as pound number 1. And the best middleweight in the last 25 years. Not giving the people one fight that they want to see. You see what I'm saying? So, shoot, why can't a brother have a Jesse Vargas? As a matter of fact, Jesse Vargas is not that bad, but why not? Right? So, I wouldn't care if it was that until somebody step up to the plate. But whatever. So, that is pretty awesome because you don't have a Sean Porter. Like, if I can't get one of these fights, and he ain't talking about just Vargas, he's really talking about Pacquiao or Spence, basically, or Ugas, because it's belts. If he can't get a belt, he is talking about Sean Porter. That's pretty awesome, right? Because Sean Porter is a lose-lose. There's nothing to win by beating Sean Porter. He doesn't have a title. Regardless of how awesome we know he is, he does not have a title. So it's just a hard fight without a title in the welterweight division, my third weight division. Sean Porter is a damn welterweight, let's be honest, right? Excuse me, a middleweight, let's be honest. But okay, so he should be fighting that for a belt. But okay, whatever. That's what the kind of heart this guy has. So if I don't get the fights that I want, then I'll take this hard guy. Matter of fact, didn't he just become my mandatory? Yeah, I got him then. Whatever. He's not complaining about mandatories and trying to call somebody up to get a franchise, because he should be able to get a franchise from the WBO, right? They should be happy to have him pound for pound number one, right? But he's not going to make the call. So we don't have to worry about it. So either he gets a fight he wants or it's Sean Porter. Pretty awesome to me. Now another Negro League fighter, Devin Haney. You'd be like, how is he a Negro League fighter already? He just started. Yeah, but the undisputed fight he should have posed to have, right, with Teofimo Lopez. An undisputed fight. There's actually, damn, they're contracted. Teofimo Lopez backed out. He ain't trying to fight Devin Haney. His mandatory in Garcia, a mandatory doesn't want to fight him in Garcia. Talks about everybody else except Devin Haney. It's a Negro League fighter. They shouldn't be allowed to, which means they should be outraged with Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez. And Lomachenko, who's the number one pound for pound guy. He don't want none either. Here's the point. Check this out. We know that Devin Haney was about to fight Jorge Linares. Matter of fact, we even know that he's going to get $3 million for doing it. Fighting Jorge Linares, I think, sometime in April or May, right? But the fight is not signed, sealed, delivered. His pops and said, hey, hold up. Lomachenko was talking smack over Twitter. We sent him 7 digits. 7-digit deal to fight Lomachenko. Right, Lomachenko, you complaining about your loss to Teofimo Lopez. Actually, Lomachenko, you were supposed to fight me, but you went and got the franchise belt. So when I'm supposed to fight you, you call. That's that third call we just talked about, right? We got one from Loma now. We got one from Canelo Alvarez. We got one from Gennady Golovkin calling to get something to not fight a brother. That's what these calls are. Because at the other end of the call is always a brother, isn't it? Right? Devin Haney, Charlo, you know what I'm saying? So there you have it. So he made the call, and so he got franchised. So he didn't fight Devin Haney then. Now Devin Haney's the champion, and Devin Haney's still doing the chasing. So let's see if that fight can happen before, because his pop said basically, if we can get Loma, that's what we want first, and he meant now, not later. To have, and if he can't fight him, then who he has? He has Jorge Linares on standby. That's pretty awesome. Because if you look at Linares on standby, you look at Sean Porter on standby, people be like, well, what's up with them? Sean Porter gave the best welterweight in the whole division all he can handle in Errol Spence. A lot of people thought Sean Porter either draws that fight or maybe even won it, which means it's a close fight. That's what we can all agree on. That was Sean Porter's last big fight, right? So he's to let you know it's no separation between him and Spence, right? Jorge Linares, when your boy Lomachenko is definitely being called pound for pound number one, Linares gave him all he could handle, had him down, right? And lost in the round 10, but Linares gave him all he can handle, right? So there you have that. So bottom line is this, when you have these fighters, it's about not getting a Floyd Mayweather problem, right? And the Floyd Mayweather problem is simple. It's like, if we let this brother fight for undisputed, like a Demetrius Andrade versus Canelo at 160, which they could have done last year and had one champion at middleweight. But everybody ignored that, because what if Demetrius Andrade beats Canelo and is undisputed champion at middleweight division? What if Devin Haney beats Teofimo Lopez and is undisputed at the lightweight division? What we would then have is a Mayweather problem. A very, very skilled brother that no non-black person is going to beat anytime soon. That's in or around his division that's going to beat him. Right? Because you have him now not having to fight him. They would have been beat already. Now Devin Haney, I can't really say that about, because he's new. He's just getting in there and just became a champion. But Demetrius Andrade been a champion since 2013. That's about 7 years, ain't it? I ain't gonna put 2021 on about 7 years as champion. And nobody want that belt. See what I mean? So therefore, we cannot, no matter what, let these guys fight for those kind of titles, because if we send people to them, they're gonna get beat, right? So let's just keep them out of the party. You're not invited. right? This should be front page news, period. But it's not. So, a lot of times with these fighters, these Negro League fighters, fighters like that, we always say, well, who have they fought? Knowing that the people that you like, uh, the people that you like won't fight them. And to coin a very intelligent and diligent man in Bill Haney, the father of Devin Haney, he says, if you don't like Devin Haney, right? If you don't like Devin Haney, just let us know or put us in with the fighter you like, right? So you don't like Devin Haney, then put him in with one of the lightweights that you like, or start asking for that fight instead of coming to the internet giving reasons why you don't want to see that fight, right? And here's another thing, a new rule, and it's like if you come to the comment section, for example, I don't got too many people comment, but the few that do comment, and it's much love to everybody because some people come around for a long time and don't ever agree with me, right? But I know that that's love, regardless of what you think, what you say, and what you're trying to, show or portray. But it's love because you wouldn't come listen to nobody, especially when don't have the microphones ain't good. You can't hear nothing and all that. But you come because the brother is gonna be straight. Now, but if you call somebody a bum, right, in the comments, just please do this. This is only, I don't ask for too much. Y'all know that. But do this. Then list 5 fighters in that division that are not bums. So whatever division you're talking about, just like, hey, that fighter always fighting bums. Then just name 5 fighters in that division, wherever that fighter is who always fights bums, and give us the 5 fighters that are not bums. And the reason why is because then you have to think for a second, because you're not before you're writing stuff down. It's just, I hate, and you have to write something really. So take your time and think of 5 people. And then that will start giving you, without me having to do anything, you have respect for the fighters. Because then you have to start naming, well, who? Let me see, this one, I can't say him because he didn't fight him. I can't say him. That's what's going to happen to you. So if you got the time to give a comment and call some people bums that some people are fighting, or bums, period, then name 5 people in that division that you're talking about that are not bums. Can you do that? Yeah, I hope so. So bottom line is, I think Terrence Bud Crawford and Devin Haney are heroes, right? To a certain extent, because Devin Haney is already got his money for a Linares fight, for an easy fight, and he's not trying to do that. He's trying to go for a harder fight in Lomachenko, and who knows, he might even have to get less than that. And if we look at Teofimo Lopez, they did the exact opposite. It took Cambosis instead of having an undisputed fight with Devin Haney for more money, even though we know he got close to the money he would have got for Devin Haney. But think about it. Undisputed fight? No, I'm not taking that. I'm going to go over here with hell bent. I'm going to argue with my promoter and everything. And then arguing with promoter, doesn't that sound familiar? Yeah. Soon as Oscar De La Hoya starts saying Canelo can only be called great if he fights Demetrius Andrade and Charlo. And then your boy Bernard Hopkins said the same thing. I want him to fight Charlo. That's the best fight. Soon as those things start happening, as soon as the zone starts saying, "Hey man, we got 1-2 easy fights. It's time to fight somebody hard. We pay you $35 million a fight. Can you give us something?" As soon as that starts happening, he starts arguing with his promoters, right? Same thing. Ryan Garcia is new in the business. He's already arguing with his promoter. Yeah, because at some point the promoters is like, man, we know we gonna guide you around these people, but you got to fight one in between now and then. So that's what's really going on. So y'all check that out, man. And think about it. If you were Terrence Crawford, would you be trying to do what you're doing? If you were Devin Haney, would you be trying to do what you're doing? I think it's pretty awesome to see that. This should be front page news, but let's see if it is. Or do you have to scroll all through the internet to find out information like that? Because if you found me, think about it. Right? This should be your first take on Monday. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide, and I'm up out of here.